Welcome to Holdback Rack Podcast. My name is Jessica Hare. I operate Hare Hollow Farm, and we breed boas, balls, and select colubrids.
Hi, I'm Jana King. I operate ASM Royal Tails, and I breed high-end ball pythons.
We want to share our journey navigating herpetoculture and are dedicated to promoting biohazard safety for all species. And we would love you to answer the question, what's in your holdback rack? Episode 39, Jana. Are you alive or dead?
I am officially dead. I think there's a signed certificate and everything. I got hit by a bus called Reptile Expo Weekend Hangover.
It's a not
How
safe
are you?
for work podcast, by the way. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Already.
Totally not safe. Put in your headphones.
I just
Get
want
your kids out.
Yeah, I want to know why it feels like a bus. Are
Probably
we
'cause we're-
like insufficient humans? I think about that. Like I used to work retail, so I talk to people all the time. So it's somehow
Yeah, I think we both, maybe I'm speaking out of turn for you, but I am a social introvert. So I love to go and do social things, but then I gotta like recover for a while. And I'm like, don't talk to me for like a week, because now I'm a cranky bee. Plus, then there was COVID, and I think it made everyone a little weird. And so now we're all like little kenneled puppies that no one's talked to all day. And so those of us that are introverts, and you go out and you talk to all these people and you interact and you're just on all day. And I just think that our social, everyone in general, no matter if you're introvert or extrovert, our socializing muscles are very, very weak.
I kept trying to crawl into Chris's beard to hide.
He is such an extrovert. Oh my gosh, he cracks me up.
Except
so
he
hard.
isn't though. He was putting it on too.
Oh, he was being so chatty and cute with his little like, I want a sugar glider baby. We need to get him like a sugar glider sling just to be funny, and maybe like a little dolly sugar glider to put in it.
Wait, we have a sponsor still somehow.
Yeah, we do have a sponsor, and he put up a video this week.
He got a little female leopard gecko, an Albie Snow Extreme Bold Stripe. And I don't know anything about leopard geckos, but
I know nothing. They all kind of look the same to me.
burn from
No,
Jana.
no hate on that. I'm sure that it's an amazing pickup because you have amazing taste in ball pythons. So I'm sure it's good shit all the way around. I just don't speak leopard gecko.
Right, I did Google it because I hadn't heard of the Albie Snows. And you know, Albie's two cool reptiles. He sells ball pythons now, and he still has a leopard gecko logo. Do you know that guy?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, this is his line of snow that he found. He was selectively breeding for like high white leopard geckos and accidentally found a snow version by selective breeding. And then he got into ball pythons and sort of just like liquidated his leopard gecko colony. And not many of them were rehomed to breeders. So it was almost a lost line of snow.
Like a lost project, yeah.
Right. So it's very interesting that people are still interested in it for like intellectual reasons, and B, it's sort of becoming popular again as people sort of relook at old stuff to work on.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that you can make something and name it after yourself, right?
Right. I'm really jealous of leopard gecko generation times.
How quick can you breed those suckers?
Usually the next year.
Oh, rude.
I know.
Rude. So that girl's going to be popping babies out next summer?
Not sure when they lay eggs normally. I think they lay them in the spring because you sort of cool them a little bit in the winter. But basically, yeah.
So she only needs one winter? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's cool.
Now, wouldn't that be
Lucky.
exciting?
It would be so fun. Instant gratification.
You could
I'm all
selectively
about
breed
it.
so hard. Don't tell Chris. I have been thinking about a thing with legs. Something with legs. So I've been doing some research. Leopard geckos are cool because you can make them eat just mealworms and no crickets or dubia. And I think I like the way fat tails look better, but they are very anti-mealworm. Some of them will eat some mealworms, but they want at least some dubia or crickets some of the time. Crickets fucking suck. Balls.
Yeah, I prefer dubia. Mm-hmm. Well, not personally, but as a feeder option. Apparently you can eat crickets too.
Yeah, there's a cricket protein bar brand that was sending out like free samples. I tried it. It was fine, right? It's like pureed, so it doesn't really matter anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
have you ever
Ew.
stepped on a cricket in your basement and a horsehair worm slid out of its abdomen
Ugh.
and it's
Ooh.
7 times longer than the cricket? And then
No,
all
I
of
have
your
not experienced
nightmares
that wonderful
sort of cascade
experience,
in front
but
of
thank
you
you.
for
Thank you
hundreds
for
of
that
years to go.
visual.
That's all I can think about whenever I think of crickets, mostly. So, Shane Kelley, Small Town Exotics,
Bring in the heat.
bringing the heat. Check them out, Instagram, Work Market, and YouTube. Somehow still a sponsor of the podcast. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Let's journey back. How'd your show prep go? Did you feel like you did better this time? Worse? Were you struggling in any way? Or do you feel like you...
You know that kid in high school and you have like a really big project due and they come in and they look like they pulled an all-nighter and wrote their project right then? That was me.
Again? Or more? Worse?
Always.
Better? Always.
Always.
Okay.
Oh, always. So I have done a few shows now. Pretty confident in my setup. I went through all my boxes like the week before, washed all my tablecloths and stuff. I had a big order of deli cups come in. So like I did a better than normal prep. So like everything was ready. I just had to organize it and put it all in the right place. I've had so many clutches and I'm doing 10 credits right now. And I'm a single mom of 3. And I really wanted to finish all my school by Thursday for the whole week so that Friday I could focus on the show prep and stuff. And so I had everything staged, so to speak. But I've just been kind of chucking my hatchlings in my hatchling rack and I'll like label the clutch and like number everybody. But I used to like sex them, identify them, take individual pictures of each one, post them, like, but these last few clutches have just literally been chucked in and numbered so I knew where they belonged to and who. And so I had to like go through all of those and sex them and identify them and write down their numbers and then make up a price sheet and price them out. So I hadn't done any of that, which isn't normal for me. So that was a little stressful that I kind of put that off till I think I did that like Thursday night after I finished school, which I don't recommend doing that. Like it's so much better to just do all the work as you're putting them away. It is what it is right now. And so that was pretty much the only thing stressing me out. And then like childcare when you have 10 million children can be a little stressful. And so you're reliant on other people and their time schedules. So I ended up getting to the show Friday night at like 6 to set up.
Yeah, I was already gone.
Yeah, most people were already set up and gone. There was very few people there. And I literally like had sweated through my shirt and I was just like this hot, crazy mess. And it was not my favorite experience. But we got it all done and it was fine and it totally worked out. And I finished setting up the next morning because it's only open until 7.
Did you get a hotel or did you stay at
No,
your
I did
house
not get a
again?
hotel. I did not want to waste the money to do that when I could just drive home. So I just paid the gas. Probably with the gas prices, it probably equalized out. But then I could go home and sleep and throw all the snakes in early in the morning and take them the morning of. So that's what I did. What about you? How was your show prep? You've got a lot of extra steps because you've got multiple species that you don't like to touch.
I don't know how anybody does it quickly. Can you tell
It's
me?
very time consuming and it doesn't feel like it should be, but it takes forever.
Right, because you have to like figure out a way to label everyone in such a way that they can come back to their correct bin because you haven't memorized every baby you own. So you have to have the labels underneath like acrylic displays or on delis written or...
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, it doesn't fit in this size thing. So you have to remove the label and you're like not sure if you're bringing the right mix. And so you end up switching it. It's such a pain in the dick. Like, so somebody who brings like, like a Garrick DeMeyer who brings like hundreds of animals.
And he uses sticky notes, not labels. So, like, how does that not just like, what if his sticky notes all blow off in the car or something? No hate. Love Garrick DeMeyer. Not hating. I just mean I worry for him and his sticky notes. Because I have children and in 2 minutes, those sticky notes would be
I use sticky notes too.
gone forever.
Right. And then I was using my label maker and I'm like, this is lame. Like, it takes a long time to use a label maker. They look much nicer and better. But it takes way too long.
And I have to redo all the labels every show.
Right.
because sometimes there's not like
The
what you want
same.
on there. It's just, yeah, you have to, it sucks. Labels suck.
I was like, I want like multiple lines of text. So then like that makes it take a long time. And if you could like render labels from Husbandry Pro or something that could
That would be cool.
communicate it, like I can print off like the QR code or whatever from Husbandry Pro onto like Dymo labels. So I thought about that for a second. I'm like, but they're not. My Husbandry Pro isn't like perfect. Like they don't have like the morphs are correct in the morph section, but they won't necessarily generate something attractive looking. Like it'll be like AML het sender, but
Hmm.
really it's like it should be labeled, candy cane tessera het peppermint. You know what I'm like? The language is not
Right.
flavorful. So that
Correct.
is somewhat a pain in the dick. So I don't. If some write in, what is the best way? I think, and then eventually I'm like, maybe the right way is the stupid chalk markers. They look worse, but you can
I
write
have
literally
chicken
whatever
scratch
you want. Yeah,
handwriting.
me
No
too.
one would be, they'd be like, what the F does this say?
I did a lot of chalk marker this time, and I
You
don't
did
know.
well.
I don't know what well is anymore. I did better than any show I've done so far, but for some reason it still felt not that good. Does that make any sense at all?
Absolutely.
I just didn't feel very busy, and then I wasn't selling my most expensive animals. I wasn't selling my best animals. As usual, I was selling the cheapest animals for the most part.
Yes. I was feeling pretty disappointed with the show. Or with myself, maybe. I don't know. I came home and had like a giant pity party for myself afterwards
On Saturday or Sunday?
on Sunday. Just like, it was not good. I was just like not in a good headspace. And like, I had talked to some of the other people about how they did and like hearing their numbers. And I was just like, obviously people were selling snakes, but it sure wasn't me. So I was like, what was I doing wrong? Because normally I do really well. And I just felt like there was probably a dozen times that I spent over an hour talking with people and like getting them hyped up about ball pythons and they're holding some animals and they're falling in love with some animals. And then they're like, well, we're gonna just like take a little walk and chat it out, which is normal before a transaction. Like a lot of people do that and they usually come back and buy the animal. And then they'd come back and they'd show me the ball python that they bought from somebody else. Because
Yes.
obviously, like I'm a really friendly person, and so I had gotten them all excited about ball python, so they wanted to show me their new baby, and so you're like excited and happy for them that they got a new pet. But on the inside, I was like dying. Like, what am I doing to not like close these deals? Because it happened like 12 times, like so many times. And like all of them, they did. They came back and they were like, look at my new baby. And I'm like, that's so great. And I'm just like, on the inside, I'm like,
Fuck
really?
you.
I really just spent like all this time with you, and then you went and gave someone else your money. But
Right.
you liked me enough that you wanted to come talk to me and tell me that you liked me enough that you wanted to show me your new baby. Why didn't you buy a baby from me? I was just a little confused. It was just odd energy. Maybe I was off. I don't know. It was weird, and I didn't like it. And I'm gonna keep doing shows. I have like five more tables lined up, or five more shows lined up. So it's happening. But I felt real bad about myself. And I didn't care for that because normally I feel really great after shows. And this time I was just like, that sucked. I sucked. And like all my breeder friends that are in like this chat, they all did really good and sold a lot of snakes, like a very high number of snakes. And so I'm like, obviously people were buying snakes. So I can't blame it like on the show being slow or something. Like it had to have been something about me that I was doing. Maybe I smelled bad.
I was near you. You did not smell bad. No, I feel like it was a weaker show. That's why I'm like, it didn't feel good because I didn't feel people were buying certain kinds of things. It was very confusing to me what they were buying as always. And there was a lot of people who would, I mean, I didn't get it 12 times, but I got like the 1 hour talk and then they would leave
Yeah.
and check out every other table. I definitely was told a couple times, like, I talked to you and then I checked all the other tables and I didn't really like what you had, but you have the cheapest price on just a corn snake, just
Hmm.
any corn snake that exists. I'm like, well, that's a vote of confidence. Like,
Right. I got told that too. Oh, you have really fair pricing. You have way better pricing than some of the other tables. But okay, that did not seem to matter.
I think it did a little bit for me. I tried to come in aggressive on pricing on like male single gene corn
I was
snakes.
super aggressive with my pricing,
You
and I
were
never
aggressive
have
on
been
your
before.
het desert goose female.
I was pricing them like 150 under Morph Market,
Right. And
like really aggressive.
yeah, it just didn't feel like there was any breeder type people there buying. it was all pet people who, all pet
Don't
people.
care about they don't care about the head
Right.
desert ghost crap. Yeah. So
So what did you sell the first day? Like approximately, like kinds of things or price or however you want to break it down.
I didn't break it down by days. I
Okay,
just did the whole weekend.
that's fine.
You can do your days if you want. But the first day is always better. I think I sold three or four the second day. So everything else was the first day. So I guess sold 12 the first day and four the second day.
That's pretty good, but you didn't feel like it was good.
But one of those wasn't a sale. One of those went to the auction. And two of those, they put them on hold. Does that count?
Did they buy it and give you money and just put it on hold to pick up later?
So I don't take money for holds. Maybe I should, but I don't like to do that at expos because if they like go off and change their mind, then I have to try to figure out how to hunt them down and get a refund. So
I would just take a 25% non-refundable deposit,
that's good. Maybe I'll do that in the future. But
just like
so I
you would
have
on Morph Market or whatever.
yeah, so I have two animals and I have spoken to both people. They came at the end of the show and they were like, "Yes, we're definitely going to get this, but we want to get everything set up before we take the animal home." And so I was like, okay, that's cool. So I put their names on the snake, but I hadn't pulled it. Like, it's not like they came in on Saturday morning and I took it off the table all weekend. They came back and they're like, okay, that baby's still there, but I feel like I need to go watch some videos and set up a tank and do all this stuff. And so I'll contact you this week. And I have heard from both of those people, so I'm counting them as sales. Anyway, it just felt it sucked. So I guess that's 13 animals for the whole weekend if you don't count the one I gave to the auction and the two that I have yet to be paid for. And that sucks. That's a really shitty number for me.
I don't know if that's a shitty number though. Maybe that's the right number. And then just the COVID numbers were crazy.
But see, I talked to some other people,
If you don't
a
want to
other
say.
person,
Okay.
and they said they sold like 35 snakes.
Were they selling ball pythons?
Yeah.
Did they tell you like the composition of morphs or whatever that they were?
I didn't ask any more questions because that's when I went and had a pity party for myself because I was like, obviously other people were selling.
I
I
sold not 35 snakes, two.
You're gonna give your real number?
I need to count it up now because I'm old.
You have it at the bottom.
Oh, 23 snakes. I can't remember my left tit from my right tit at this
That's
particular
totally
moment.
fine. Yeah, not only has she been hit by the expo bus, she's flirting with the roid.
The vid.
The vid. Sorry, the Rona.
Right. Roid would be steroids, which I could
That's
be flirting with
true.
that too. You don't know. I'm pretty tall and masculine. Meow, meow.
Okay.
All right. I think my number is large because corn snakes are cheap. I did sell some quote unquote more expensive corn snakes. $200.
Big money.
Right.
Big money.
But people are just much more willing to look at something that's $80 and they're like, sure, don't care, in my opinion. But I don't know if there's anything special about my corn snakes versus anybody else's corn snakes. Or I did do better than the December show. Remember, I only did like 1,300 the December show, and maybe like
But you were
11
going more for
snakes.
quantity than money this time because you're moving. So your goal was to move the maximum number of snakes out the door, right?
Right, but I also like had more kinds of corn snakes this time, not just Miami tesseras and normals.
Hard truths right now. How many baby corn snakes have you hatched so far this season? Do you even know?
Not really. Probably 170 or something.
My guess was 200, so I'm pretty close.
I mean, there's more eggs coming. So.
There are, yeah, because a bunch of your girls have double clutch, so those ones haven't hatched yet.
Yeah, they're just hatching now, basically. So there's probably
Okay.
another 40 eggs. So it'll be 200-ish in the end. But there's a lot of ways to be like, well, that's not worth it because, you know, a corn snake is only worth $100 or something. But the mother only costs 50 mice worth of food to feed a
Right.
year. So that's about $60 or something.
Right, so one baby of hers, if you sell,
Right,
takes
and
care
then
of her
one
maintenance.
other baby takes care of her dad, and dad can breed 7 fucking females too. So maybe
And then maybe
seventh
one
of a
other baby pays for all the babies too for the year.
Yes, yeah. So a Pinky Mouse is like 30 cents or something.
Yeah,
So
pretty pretty good pricing on that.
And they stay on pickies for a long time because a pickie's already kind of too big when they're born anyway. It makes sense still to make a corn snake, even if the corn snake is only $50 or $40, because it does make sense. It's just labor that's like an issue. And then you can't really ship a $50 corn snake because people don't want to pay shipping. But a cheaper snake that's cheaper to make and maintain can go at a cheaper price, is all I'm saying. I don't know how many cheap corn snakes I want to make in my life. You know what I mean? Maybe 200 is a good limit, which would be like 12 females or something. Yeah, I don't understand anything. I did notice that, like, as usual, like, more colorful corn snakes sold better than gray corn snakes. But the gray ones still sold too.
All my bananas were the sellers.
Bananagrams. Did you sell anything not a banana?
Yes. Yes, I did.
What did you sell that was not a banana?
The really cheap stuff. The stuff I had marked way down, like $80, 60 to $80. That stuff sold.
Were they
because
like
the most
single gene,
like a pastel hep hide male, Enchi hep hide male, a black pastel female, stuff like that. Just real basic stuff that I had marked pretty cheap.
Did you sell any adults?
I did. So I took 8, and I came home with, haha, 2. Came home with 3.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Did all of them sell?
One I gave away.
Gave away? Why wasn't I there for the free snake session?
I'm sorry. You
that
don't
was
like
the
spider.
USR? Yeah, I don't.
No, not to the USR. No, I gave it away to a breeder friend. Like, she's just starting out breeding. And I wanted to take homeless snakes, and it was Sunday afternoon, and my children have like an emotional bond with this one. And so I really needed to not come home with her because there was many tears and gnashing of teeth when I packed her up for the expo. She's a OD spinner, and I just needed, like, I only paid $300 for her, and she's given me 2 big nice clutches, so I felt like not coming home with her was fine. So anyway, I just passed her along.
Did you keep any babies from her?
Like, keep any babies? Am I going to keep any babies?
Yeah.
No. I'm trying to get less spider in my collection, and since she's 3 genes, it'd be really easy to like throw my pie to her next season or other things, and then then you're tempted to keep back the spiders, and it's a little merry-go-round I just didn't want to be on, and I was ready to part with her. So she can go bless someone else's collection, and the karma can blow this way a little, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt really bad after this show, and I didn't like that I felt so bad. And I mean, I really didn't do bad. If you hear the people that are talking about the like the Texas shows and the Southern shows, and they're doing a couple $100, not even enough to pay for their table and their gas, and it was not like that. No, it was absolutely worth my time, and I did 3,200, but that's with my kid's money because my kid tore it up.
What was your kid
Holy
selling?
balls, she tore it up. So I let her. I've been trying to teach her about business. She's 10. She's been wanting to make money, and she's always wanting me to give her money. These 10-year-olds these days, like, buy me an iPhone, give me $100 and whatever. She's always doing that kind of stuff. So I was like, how about? Well, she's also always asking me to sell toys at my table because other vendors do. And she's like, why don't we sell toys? We should sell toys. Anyway, so she's been just nagging at me. And I was like, how about we do this? You're always wanting to earn money, and you keep wanting us to do toys at the table. How about I front you an investment, and you pick out some toys, and we'll talk about like the price per toy, and we'll decide on the price you want to charge people for that toy and about how much profit you can make. And so it turned it into like a little summer school project, I guess. And she picked out these really cute snake slap bracelets and these really cute like stuffed sequin snakes, and then just like little plasticky reptile
Did you get it
toys.
from Amazon or Alibaba?
Amazon.
Okay.
But I looked elsewhere for because this was like last minute. We decided like 2 weeks ago, and so if you want to do like Alibaba or whatever, it takes like 8 weeks to get it from China, and then you got to air it out for like another 8 weeks because of the chemicals. Anyways, I just bought the stuff and we figured out her prices. And she made a little sign and she had a little display set up, and she sold out by probably 1 o'clock on Saturday.
So what you're saying is you're going into the toy business.
No, it's her business still, but we have bought. I spent like $150 on merchandise for her, and the girl made like $400 or $500, like just an insane amount of money. So she had to pay me back, and then because we're like partners, she got 50% of the profits, and I got 50% of the profits. And she obviously didn't want to reinvest in her company, no matter how many lectures I gave her, and so I'm taking the money and I'm reinvesting it in her business, and we bought like 10 times more stuff to take to the next few expos because there were people coming up to the booth asking for the stuff we were selling, and I was like, oh, we sold out, I'm sorry, because they saw, all the other kids running around their expo playing with their stuff.
They
And
sell on Saturday, I'm assuming?
yeah, she sold out
Okay.
by 1 o'clock on Saturday, so she only had like the little critters left on Sunday. She just closed up shop on Saturday. She was like, I'm good. I'm good. We can go now, Mom. And I'm like, she was like cleaning up house. She was doing better than I was doing anyway. And so that was a pretty cool experience for me to watch her just be really successful. So we've expanded it a little, and I've probably dumped another $400 in merchandise for her, but I found like way better prices. And she's gonna go to the shows with me and do her own little half a table, and we'll keep talking about business and about earning money. And I think it's a good experience for her. And that part of the show is just really cool for me, just to feel like I was not sucking at this single mom thing.
But she had a better time this time than in December.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Normally on the second day, she's like sobbing in the corner and hates me and never wants to speak to me again. Even though I encourage her not to come the second day, she always wants to. And then she gets there and she just can't handle it. So, nope, there were no tears this time. She was happy and energetic the whole time. The last like 2 or 3 hours were really dragging, and then she wasn't making any sales because there was like, not very many people there. And so that she was like, oh, I'm so over it. And I was like, yeah, you and me both, sister. I was like, but we gotta show up. We gotta stay till it's over. And so she stuck it out, and that was pretty cool. And on the way home, she was like, I finally understand why you're so tired after Expo. She was like, I'm exhausted. And I was like, yeah, that's what hard work feels like.
That's
And so,
good.
like, I don't know, I just felt like it was a really teachable moment, even if I wish the expo would have gone better. Like I said, it was completely worth my time. I made good money. I emptied a lot of space in my racks, which I needed to do. I gave out hundreds of business cards. I pimped the podcast a bunch. I mean, it was good. It was good, but I walked away with a bad feeling, and I haven't ever before, and that was a bummer.
Did you feel like it was worse than Monroe?
I feel like I did better at Monroe, and that's what made me feel so bad, is because Monroe is kind of a lower scale show. And it's a 1 day show. And I did about the same in 1 day in Monroe that I did 2 days in Pac Northwest.
Did you? I thought you did in the 2000s there also.
Yeah, I did about the same, and
Right,
that
the
theirs was only
thousand
1 day.
dollars
So
is more, 50% more.
right, so I did 3,200, but that's with Ariana's sales.
Oh, and she did
I
500
think
or something.
500. Yeah. So I only did like 300 more than Monroe, and that was a 1 day show.
Honestly, even though I still have the feeling that it has nothing to do with anybody. I think everyone did worse.
Well, and that's to be expected with the economy
Right.
and the gas prices and all that. So I was expecting it to be not as good of a show, and I didn't feel bad until I talked to how other people like asked others how they did, and they were all like, "I did fantastic," blah 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 blah.
So
And then
everyone
I
I
was
talked
like,
to on Saturday said that Saturday was
was
bad for
so
them.
slow.
Yeah. And I
But
talked
then I
to
talked to some
anybody
people
I
on.
could, and like 6 people, just
Okay, so
random
you
dudes and
random six.
dudettes. And I was just
Okay.
like, how are you doing today? They're like, pretty slow, doing okay,
Everybody
but
but
pretty
rodent
slow.
people. The rodent people were like, "I'm sold out. I can't keep up."
Right. I mean, hopefully people should definitely sell rodents. That's a good business to be in, or feeders in general.
It's probably all fine. I just need like a week's distance from it. But I am looking forward to, I am doing the Portland shows. And before I became single, I had not planned to do any of the Portland shows, but I am looking forward to them. And I'm looking forward to bringing my kid and watching her be successful in her business too. And it's going to be good. It's going to be a good year. And hopefully I don't have 1,000 babies at the end of the year that still need sold. I have been sending out emails today to like local pet stores, not like
Already?
PetSmart, Petco, just to like make some contacts, just in case I need to wholesale some stuff. I have a lot of clutches on the ground right now.
But you haven't put any on Morph Market. Is that correct?
I have not put any on Morph Market. I need to go through and take pictures and put up. So I don't want to put anything that's sub 200 on Morph Market.
Sure.
So I need to go through and price everything out and label everything, and then anything that's worth 200 or above will go up on Morph Market. Here, August 8th is my last day of class. So honestly, I don't know if it'll get done before then. I still have lots of room, and it's all gonna be fine. Everything's fine. We're all doing good. Why don't you update us on the Jessica situation?
What situation?
What situation? That's real cute. Real cute.
No, I think we sort of went over it already last episode.
No, like what's the update? Do you have like a move day? Did
I still
your
don't really
house?
have a move date though.
You were like buying a house while we were doing our interview. Did you buy that house?
Yeah.
And everything's going good? You don't have to like back out?
Yeah, it's fine. You know,
That doesn't
I don't know
sound
how
fine.
everything sucks ass, but you gotta just
A real downer episode.
take it
Sorry,
up the butt.
everybody.
No, it's fine. It's just like the top of our price range and all this other crap. We have to like bend over backwards to get something that's still just sort of. It does have like the equivalent of a 4-car garage in the backyard, like with
What?
2 garage doors and like a wooden structure attached to it.
You gotta shoot me a link.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So that can be turned into the snake house?
Yeah, it's got electricity to it, but not water. So we'll need water taken out there.
Well,
Probably
that's doable.
insulation and stuff. Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Probably because it gets hot down there, so probably air conditioning or a swamp heater, swamp
We're gonna
cooler. What are they
do a
called?
mini split because
Mini split. Okay.
also gets cold. So it's like fuck you both ways. Hot as balls, and then for a brief amount of time, way too cold.
But 4-car garage, you can definitely do rats and snakes, right?
Yeah, but I think I still want a separate rat shed because fuck rats. Smell.
That's fair. So, okay, tell me something positive or happy about the expo.
I got to meet a lot of people I haven't seen yet in person, so that was fun. Buckner was there,
Yeah, I
Exotics.
really like her. Her daughter wants to mentor with me, and I keep putting him off, and I don't mean to. If you're listening, I really don't mean to. I actually really adore you and your daughter. She's fantastic. Totally going to be getting into my snake shed in August, and then I'm gonna have her come out.
Yeah,
I mean,
there.
like what teenage girl is like, "Yes, let me come clean some tubs and talk to me
I
about
know.
ball
Please
pythons."
do.
I'm like, "Seriously? You are like gold. I will take 10 of you. I got to get my life together and then have her out because I'm actually really excited about it because like there are not many teenage girls like her in the world today."
Yeah, I had somebody volunteer 2 years ago or something. I'm like, I appreciate you, but I don't know. It's hard to like slot someone into a system that is systemless. You know what I mean? Like you can't. You mostly just have to invite them over to chit chat, but you
Oh
can't
yeah,
give
for
them.
sure.
Like I don't have like a be like it's Wednesday. That means it's water change day for sub-adult ball pythons. So like you would have to assign tasks to yourself to be able to assign them to them. Like if
Right.
you had, a little worker friend. Yeah, it'll be fun though.
Yeah, and then like you can do cool things like here's this amazing hatchling that is now yours.
Right,
Go
you could
and
just
grow
like,
and blossom. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited about it. I just need to get it going. But anyway, so you met nice people. She's an avid listener, so I really like her.
There was a bunch of longicauda and some other weird boas that were over at Convicted Reptile Stable. Did you get to see those?
I didn't get to see
Or
those. Those are
Conviction?
rarer, aren't they?
I mean, I have one.
You have one, but don't you need a pair? Eventually, but
Yeah,
The
Right.
females
I
take
mean, they're
100
rare as
years.
in like they are not a shitty mutt boa that just is everywhere. So like yes. So I think they're like a Portland vendor. Is that correct?
Were they next to?
They were next to Inland Reptiles, Nick Mutton, by the door.
Okay,
So I don't
I
know
didn't
how
see
well
his table.
Nick did either, because I looked at Nick's early on Saturday, then I looked at it on Sunday. And I still have yet to say hi to him, and I keep meaning to, but I have like, I
I
don't know,
never did stop at DS balls,
these balls.
these balls,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew if I went over there, I was gonna drop some cash. Did he bring his retic pied for display?
Berm pied. I don't think so. It's like just got in. I think it's in quarantine still.
Oh, okay, that was probably responsible of him, but I
Yeah,
really
I
wanted to
didn't
see
get
it.
around to a lot of things that I should have, as always.
Especially since it was such a slow show, you would think we would have had time to browse the tables, but I never do.
Sometimes you're like left alone. Like Sunday of the December show, we were basically left alone for 5 hours. No sales. I think we had one sale on Sunday in December.
I was working it so hard on Sunday that I was busier than Saturday. And like I said, I wasn't closing any deals. I probably was on my knees. I was probably on my knees for 5 hours of the show. I'm not even
Just like putting
exaggerating.
snakes in kids'
Putting
hands.
snakes. At one time I had 5 snakes out
How do you
because
keep track of all your
I'm
snakes?
literally trying to sell snakes.
Hey, you ever do like the sniff test where you're like,
The sniff test.
that kid's coming over here just to touch snakes, and so you politely do it quickly if you want. But then you
Correct.
can tell they've been to 3 tables because he has like a handful of cards that he's been collecting, and
So I don't ever do the sniff test. I treat all children equally, and I want them all to be imbibed with reptile love at that young age so they can spend the next 5 years begging their parent to buy a reptile from me because they
from
have this
you or from the
magical.
last vendor over or the
In my
next one
brain, it's
down.
from me. So I have one snake that I was passing to kids that were literally lined up around my table. And then the other 4 snakes that I was taking out were people who were actually there that wanted to look at specific snakes and talk about ball pythons. So that's why I had so
But
many
don't you
out,
think you
because
could
I'm
have
like,
closed the deals on the other four better if you were giving them more of your attention than the pass around snake?
it's true, I could have.
I'm
And at
not,
some
I'm
a few
arguing for myself here where I'm like,
should I be doing that? I don't know.
right. Like, because I spent some time with the adult corn snake in front of and Chris did too, like in front of the table, being like, does anyone want to touch an adult corn snake? Right? Because I had a
Hmm.
adult female cinder. Because she looks cooler than her daughters because all the pink has come in at this point. So she's like pink and gray. None of that activity sold her or her daughters. So
Yeah,
hours of
everybody
activity.
wanted to buy my plain cinnamon show snake.
Right. Well, then nobody
So
wanted to
then
buy
I
her either. So in
no,
my
I
case,
had so many offers for him,
maybe
and I
just
was like,
sell
he's not
fucking
for sale. He's not for sale. And so then I put him away, and then I started just using
for sale snakes.
for sale snakes like bananas and stuff. Didn't help.
Right. I think it was a bum show a little bit. And obviously, these people are there normally too.
I had so many people at my table that they were like, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a reptile show.
Right. I did sell a
So
couple of snakes to people who were like, I didn't know this was a reptile show. My kid wants a reptile. You have some cheap ones, you know.
yeah.
And so they bought their first one on that day and then went and got the setup elsewhere. So they were fully trapped and ensnared by
Well,
price.
there was a girl that she's the daughter of a vendor, and she came over and she was like, "Can I hold any snake?" It was before the show even started, and I was like, "Yeah, of course. You're vendors, like whatever, I don't care." And she was like, "My mom won't say yes," and she's like, "I'm so responsible." She was like, "I make my own money. I want to pay for the tank myself." She's like, "I've done all the research," and she like had this prepared speech that she's probably given her parents 100 times, and she's like, "I don't understand why they keep saying no." And I was like, "Oh well, my
Are you
reptile or
talking
my
about the
expo."
girl with brown hair that's kind of short, but she's tall, maybe 14, who
Yes,
was vending at the parakeet
I
and
think so.
bird table? Yeah, she said
I
that
think
to
so.
me too. And all the other tables I saw her at. She was just holding snakes at every table.
Right. So
Yeah.
I gave her our snake that's the expo snake, the ambassador snake, and I'm like, he has changed many parents' minds and gotten me many sales. And so I was like, here, it was before the show started on Sunday. I was like, here, go back to your booth and just don't say
She
anything to
has a
her.
ball python at home. She just wants another snake.
She got one.
Another one?
Yeah, she bought a snake at the show. And after I had spent like
Oh,
all day talking to her Saturday and all day talking to her Sunday, and I let her take my snake for like 2 hours, she came at the end of the show to show me her ball python that she
that
had
was
gotten.
the
And she was
one that did
so
it?
excited. I had a bunch of people do it, but she was one of them. And I was just like, you're a vendor. How do you, I guess you're 14, so it's fine. But oh, I was so irritated.
We need to
It is what
get
it is.
somebody's info that sells
Like a car salesman.
no, no, Ramos and Xotics. I should have talked to them because I'm friends with them on Instagram and I forgot to say hi. But they were selling high-end ball pythons and high-end boas. You were right next to them, the pod across, but in my pod,
The Jill and Jed and Jill one.
close. They had leopard ultramilk kryptons for four
They
thousand
had the
dollars.
next level displays, like a whole like 2 tables full of them. It looked like it. I
Powerhouse Python said next level.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
I got to meet him too. Finally, I've talked to him a bunch of times online, and he's a really nice guy. I was glad I got to finally meet him.
yeah. He bought the only two adult ball pythons that I sold.
About 3 of my snakes.
I just wondered how they had done because they had brought mostly high end stuff. In their case, if they even sold one,
It makes the trip worth it.
right? So I'm
Well,
sure there were
my
empty top bins, so maybe they did fine. But I wonder if
my
anybody
friend
bought anything
from
that was
LA,
expensive. Oh, how'd she do?
she did insane. And that might have also been hurting my numbers too, is because she was right next to me. She sold a pastel freeway to a girl who just wanted a high-end pet. And so she picked out this pastel freeway, and then her dad pulls out this fat wad of cash and without even missing a beat, dropped $1,000 on the table.
Where's your grand, Jana?
I don't know. I didn't have any snakes that were that high end. But whoa, I wish I had a daddy with a fat wad of cash,
Mm-hmm.
Literally, because she was just like, I want something just really fancy and it's just going to be a pet and it's going to be like my baby. And she was like, and I want it just to be really fancy and high end and cool. And she was like, well, I have freeways, but they're like $1,000. And she was like, well, let me see them. And so she held her freeways and then she was like, Daddy, I want this one. And he was like, okay. And he looked at the price and just started counting out dough.
Well, maybe it is worth it to bring a couple of high end ones because not that are breeder
But that made
high
her whole
end,
trip.
but
She came up from LA. I mean, but that paid for her whole trip.
right, but visual high end, so that
Yeah.
a daddy Robux character could hypothetically buy.
If you're out there, Daddy,
Please call.
please call. My knees are they're broken in.
She's ready.
I'm ready.
Knees are primed and ready. It's hard because then your high end animal has to go back through quarantine, be potentially exposed to mites. I kind of take them down from Morph Market for a time. So is it better to try for the local sale and miss and then lose out on some time on Morph Market because you're waiting until the mite shoe does or does not drop?
Yeah. I mean that's always the question. I mean that leads me into this trail of thought. So another wonderful thing that I did at the expo was normally I take my snakes home, or if I'm at a hotel, I take my snakes to the hotel with me. But I was burnt out after the Saturday, and I was like, they're all gonna be fine. And I had one pop out of her bin. I only had 3 in bins, and everybody else was locked up. And so she had popped out earlier during the day, and I was like, I'll just put her on the bottom of the stack with 2 other breeder females on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
So she had 4,000 grams on top of her lid. And then the next morning, those guys are upside down and sideways, but they never popped their lids off, and the lid is just popped a little, and she was gone. So in terms of biosecurity, how dead to me is this snake?
I don't know. I don't know.
What is
You
the right
should you
answer?
should have told me you were selling her, and I probably would have just traded you the Mystic or something if you wanted to get Mystic, because I don't have any breeder calico females, so I would have bought her and bred.
Oh, She was on
Yeah.
my table the first day.
I know, but I wasn't paying attention to shit. Not
Oh, I'm
shit.
sorry.
So
I'm sorry.
well, now she's
I didn't
gone.
know. I thought you were only buying hets.
I buy it. So, like, I was thinking about it hard, like 2 weeks ago at 2 a.m. or whatever, when
Yeah,
that
huh?
happens. And I was like, this year, even though I need to just be buying hets, I need to make blackhead het tri-stripes or GHI het tri-stripes. But all of
Yeah,
my GHIs are young. So I would go pay for a gene that I want that's an adult that I don't already have that as a female to make a rare het
that makes sense. Yeah.
combo. And I'm
Bummer.
like
I would have
this
just given her to
close.
you,
Right.
so I
I'm
had
like
one less snake in my rack.
And I'm this
Here,
close to like
here you
buying
go.
like a puzzle male and doing the same thing with puzzle. So I was like, you can't buy any good jeans in a puzzle male basically
Yep.
that are dark and cool because they're just too rare still. So how
Yep.
did you get it in there? You could go buy hats.
I know, Jessica. How'd you get it in there?
Oh. So I was like, yeah, I will sell off like this single gene butter and the pewter and whatever and just move down there and then probably buy older female GHIs, older female blackheads, older female.
That's interesting. You're normally like way anti
Yeah, I don't want to,
adults.
but I don't have a good
Adultsies.
way to like
No, I know.
get
Yeah,
on brand for tri-stripe anytime this decade.
I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. I'm just surprised it's coming out of your mouth.
Well, this is the summer of everyone getting out of the hobby. So
There will be tons
there
and
are tons
tons.
already on Morph
I was
Market
having
and
a
they're
real hard
getting
time
cheap.
moving females, and I was dropping the price a lot because I sold a normal female. I sold like four normal females last summer, $400 each plus shipping. And I can't sell a proven 1 to 2 gene female for 300.
Yeah, it's going to be the time to.
Gonna be rough.
You don't have to sell all of your proven breeders this year because you're competing with those prices. But if you wanted to acquire some, it would also be a good time. But
But I do need to downsize some because I'm going to be taking 15 credits next quarter and it's less bins to clean.
right, I don't have the same problem with as you, where you have a lot of mature females. I still have the same number of mature females basically as I did in 2019. I just have hold back babies.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of really good stuff that's 2020 and 2021 and 2022. And like all my other stuff is like base model stuff that I acquired to figure out breeding. And now I am trying to thin out and I don't want to just keep making show fodder. Does that make sense? And so I
Yeah, show
don't want
fodder is
to.
the fucking worst, by the way. Since it's like not even satisfying that you did anything. It doesn't.
It's really a bummer. So I had intended to make a lot of show fodder for the next few years and keep back some really good stuff or, sell the heads cheaper than average as pets because I thought that this was going to be like my full-time attention. And so 25 clutches when it's your full-time attention is not a big deal. And having all that show fodder when you're going to go to 6 shows is not that big deal. But right now, you're burning it on both ends and in the middle. And so I can't sustain 25 clutches for the next 4 years. I got to drop it down to like 10
How
or
many clutches
15.
can you sustain? Oh, 10 or 15.
And so I want to make
Don't you
sure that
have
I'm
more than 10 or 15 nice females, though, right now? That are like 2021s? Or.
2020s. I have a lot of nice. I have, I'd have to count probably 40 if we're counting 2020s. If we're counting 2021s, I have like 60.
That are. Let me air quote this one. Nice. Like boutique level females. Or just all females. Jana's dying. Everybody. You don't have to think about it too hard. I'm just curious, like,
You
if
mean
your
like my
goal
clown
was
pie
really,
female and
yeah,
my
or
desert ghost
even like
female
your
and
hypo
my
lesser het DG female would count as a boutique female to me.
so like 10-ish.
So you're saying you're getting rid of everything but 10? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just trying to get rid of anything that's like single gene. It's
Right,
not
but you're
het.
still going to end up with more than your goal number anyway.
Right. So next year, I'm not going to try to breed any 2021s. You know how this year we did that fun experiment, how we bred all of our 2020s?
Mm-hmm.
because Miguel magically gets all of his to breed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, yeah, on board, and we're going to ultrasound and we're going to learn all this stuff. And we both were like, we wasted a lot of sperm, even though we were sparing with the sperm.
Mm-hmm. I did
So
get one
next,
clutch though. So
but you can get the same effort by just ultrasounding and not throwing any males to them because I don't feel like that helped at all. So I
right
will
now.
still ultrasound all my girls that are two, but I won't be counting them as.
Right, but don't you think
Uh,
you'll still have 30 clutches next year with just 2020 females and your best older females?
I'm not going to have 20 or 30 clutches this year.
Right, but don't you think even if you got sold what you think you want to sell, you have 40 billion older females. If you sold 10 of them, plus the 10 that are growing up, and one or two younger ones that might be ready too, isn't that still the same number again? Isn't it still 25? Okay.
Quit hitting me with this logic right now because it's making sense to me. And if you burst this little bubble that I'm in, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I
Burst
don't
it when
have
you're a few
your
states away.
yeah, I don't have your problems where like I'm also going to school. So I don't mind that like I have a cohort of 2020s coming up that's like 35 strong females. That'll all be in rotation this year.
Yeah, I've got so many 2020s.
So I don't need to sell adults. I just don't care to make butter head other ghosts anymore. You know what I mean? So I don't mind
Yes.
like picking up GHIs and blackheads and
Well, if I had GHIs and blackheads, then I would definitely not be selling them.
oh no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I don't mind adding single gene adults that are cheap because it's the apocalypse apparently for ball
Well, yeah,
pythons.
no, if they were like Cypress or Bongo or Blackhead or GHI, for sure I'd be picking that shit up. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many lessers do you really need?
I don't know. So I bought all of my lessers originally to make bell combos with Super Mojave to make like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I bought the mine originally. But
Yeah, for show fodder.
yeah, but making bells sucks. It's boring. So
Yes.
that's why mine are going
They'd probably
bye bye.
sell. There just was like, I'm trying to get rid of my spiders. I'm trying to not keep single gene females that
Are boring.
are boring because I have a calico genetic stripe. And so I would rather, and I think that the clown male is going to prove calico. Stay tuned for that. I have it in my Kiki project already, which is where I want it. So I don't really feel like I need to make any hets with her when I can make double hets with what I have.
Right, but she could make a calico double het clown pie.
Yes, she could. Yes, she could. Okay, just pick on me. She's missing having a romp at the fairgrounds. Why don't you go
No, I'm
and
not.
call out
I don't
Licorice
know. I'm
and see if
just
she
saying,
comes?
like I don't have a. I have a calico clown. I have a female calico clown, but I don't have a her calico het tri stripe. Some genes are cool enough that they would be cool in mini projects. I think calico lavenders actually look pretty cool. I know you're out of lavender now, but like if I was like bored and didn't know what to do with myself. No, I don't know. Life's hard. I don't know how to sell anything. I took
Yeah.
a black pastel and a mystic, which I like both of those jeans still, and they still have utility for me just to see if they would sell that sort of business. Like
Did they sell? They were still there the second day when
no,
I checked on you guys.
nobody and the gravel 50% hit clown didn't sell for literally $100. Like nobody cares. It's only a gravel.
Right. I just needed to move some snakes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I would like to go leaner and be holding back really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I played around with the idea of getting rid of my highway project, but I really like it. You've got to keep the stuff that gives you joy, man. It's very like instant gratification, whereas like all my other projects are like the long haul. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care what people say. I
Well,
don't
are you
care
gonna
what
just
you
buy a
say.
super gravel that's breedable this year instead of doing any highway mail?
I have a Phantom Highway pet pied that I'm gonna breed to my stuff, and then I'm growing up the super gravel
For next
fullback
year.
male for next year, and I'm gonna throw him to pied and clown and G stripe and all the things. Or maybe I'll sell him and get like a multi-gene for gravel. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah, I really I gotta sit down after my classes because I have like 8 weeks between or 6 weeks between summer and fall quarter, and I just gotta really hammer out the snake building, get everybody moved out there before the season starts, and I gotta take a hard look at
I know you
what I'm
like
doing.
pre-did your 2023 pairings like 6 months ago when you were in a moment of emotional
Yes,
distress. Did you feel like that pairing list is the same or
a pairing list is not valid in the slightest.
yeah? Okay.
It has no validity here. No, things have changed so much, and I mean, 6 months is a long time in any collection, and my life has changed so much in those 6 months.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do in like October or something, Halloween special, which will be like pairing
Plans for,
trajectory for the
yeah, for
year
sure. That
by
I would love that.
Halloween. Yeah, I've been like, you know how I said I knew I needed like a pied het DG or DG het pied, and then I knew I was not going to really want to buy it when it came time to buy it.
Hmm.
I feel that way today.
I think you need to get out of DG, and I think you need to get into puzzle because
No, I
DG
think I
does
need to get
not
out of
excite you.
pied. DG is fine. It's pied that drives me crazy.
Yeah, why are
DG
you
is
in Pied?
fine. Pied is
Wait,
so boring, it's obnoxious.
you have a adult female Pied. You should chuck her my way because you hate all the Pied things. What?
I'll think about it.
Okay.
My problem is like so like a DG something het pied is like $3,000 to $5,000, and then a pied het DG is can be as cheap as like 1,200 to 2 or 3 depending on what's
Yeah, but what's a
mixed in it.
double het worth?
Like a female, probably only like
Uh-huh.
500 with no jeans.
So if you don't want to get that male, then even pairing your DG to your Pied is wasting your time, right? You hate that project. You always hate on that project. Why are you in that project?
I don't know.
Stop it!
I
Get out of the project!
I like looking at them when they're like in my possession. Does that make any sense? Like just like lavender. Like lavender is better in your hand than it is online. A cock in
Oh,
the
I
hand
know,
is worth two
Jessica.
in the bush. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I think that's the hardest part because
They're
the
so beautiful in person.
right the intellectual stimulation is not there really for me. I really like blackhead Mojave combos and I like Suma. Justin released the Oreo Pied, which is Suma Black Pastel. It's really dark and nice. I'm like, what is the goal there? Like, what's the direction? Okay, it's black. Okay, we did it. Can you selectively breed that? Can you do anything to that? I don't know if you can.
You don't have to like Pied. Quit
Oh
trying to make
God,
yourself like Pied.
it's it's almost like better if it was pure like show fodder. Like I knew I had a bunch of big female pieds and I had pied combo males, and I could just make and just sell all of them. Bye. See you later. What's his face? Capital Constrictors showed the DG clown pied. I put it in the
Hmm.
show notes for next week. I don't know if you saw the picture just on accident.
Briefly, yep.
And it is just okay to me.
It kind of
Is
looks
that
like
weird?
a pastel clown pie.
Well, it is pastel DG clown pied.
I know, but it looks just just pastel to me.
So it almost okay. Let me make it even weirder. It almost looks worse than that because the pastel clown pied has more like black on it and like speckly things, and this thing is almost like denuded of pattern because DG's a reducer. And I was
I don't.
like, it's
Ever since
very
we
clean and bright and beautiful, but I'm like, it took away a lot of like what makes a pastel pie pretty cool to me.
right.
So I was like,
Well,
what? Maybe we need to add leopard back into it to like fix it, but then I'll make a high white pie. It was a little confusing to be like excited for someone's $30,000 snake and then not excited at the same time.
it's kind of like the freeway clown pie was like, oh,
It's because pie's a
oh
rough,
bummer.
rough cookie. So my point of my story was like I'm getting ready to buy something for that project and I don't want to again. So I was thinking about
Getting out.
I don't know, either getting out or I don't know what to do. Like I have a lot of animals in the project. I should still probably do it to some capacity, but
Get out. And use that money to invest in puzzles.
right, but the
Like I should probably get out of clown pie, and just am having trouble admitting that out loud.
did you see the Desert Ghost het clown pie cheese stripe?
No,
Desert
I
Ghost
have not been
clown
on Morph
pie.
Market in a while.
It's $12,000, so it's out of your budget there, buddy.
Everything's out of my
But
budget
that
there,
was it was
buddy.
a Justin snake, and I was like, so that'd be good because then you're like half in all the projects, but he could be your Desert Ghost head clown and your Desert Ghost head pie.
Oh, that's fair. So, okay, I'm gonna take a really big segue. Have you finished your thought?
Oh, what I was saying was instead of making Desert Ghost clowns, I've like strongly considered making like with my pastel head clown females going and getting like a it was partial inspiration from those ultramel kryptons or cryptics. Getting one of those instead because pastel looks okay in ultramel also. I don't know. I don't have the money to do a good DG combo project, and I don't have the will to spend the money on it. But I could buy an ultramel krypton or cryptic for $3,000 to $4,000, and that would be a double that would make sort of bright banana-esque colored snakes, even if you miss. Anyway, go ahead. That's just my current thought based on sleep-deprived weekend. Jessica telling people about corn snakes every 5 minutes. Even though I don't even like ultramel that much, it's fine. But like color palette wise, it's more appealing to me than the disappearing snakes known as Desert Ghost.
I have no thoughts on the
Mm-hmm.
direction of either of our collections should go. And if you guys cannot tell, we are burned the fuck out and so tired of talking. But here's my segue.
Segue.
Serafina, my 6-year-old, who is obsessed with isopods. Now that they have new rooms and new room setups, I promised them once we redid their rooms that they could have a pet in their room, like something that goes in a tank. And she wanted isopods because she's adorable and she's obsessed with isopods, all the kinds, and she knows their names, and it's really cool. And she'll like get them out and name them, and she can tell who's Spotty and who's Blackie and who's Pepper, and it's adorable. But I was like, if you have a pet tank, that's a bioactive tank with isopods in it, you can also have a pet in there with the isopods. And so she was like, "Oh, okay. I really want frogs." Okay, you follow me so far?
Did you buy frogs, Jana?
I did not. No, no,
Oh,
my
okay.
tank's not set up. So I've been researching frogs. And do you know anything about the fungus thing that you're supposed to like swab for?
Kitrid?
Yeah, that. Because I remember we were talking about it with somebody, and you had said make sure that they're tested or somebody tests for them.
Yeah, Josh's frogs supposedly tests like a percentage of each batch.
Oh, okay, so it's okay to buy from them because that's who I was looking at buying from.
They seem to be running a good shop. I don't know any better than that. Sorry. I don't hang out with frog people that much, so I don't know all the frog facts. But I've heard that is true. I don't know if they'll give you a Kitrid guarantee. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But I assume yes, if they've tested, if that's if they already sort of have some sort of built-in protocol, you would think they'd be like, sure, don't care.
Okay.
You can just test the water that they're floating around in when they're tadpoles, so it's pretty easy to.
Because I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to get frogs, that I was implementing biosecurity and stuff into that process as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
need to
kitchen's tough
look
because
up.
it lives on soil, so like it could be in your isopods, it could on your isopods, it could be on your soil, it could be on your plants. So
Yeah, because all the stuff that I was watching said that don't put them in your bioactive until you cleared them. Because
I
then your
don't make stuff
bioactive's
up,
ruined.
Jana. I've
I
never
didn't
once
say.
made stuff up.
I
You'll
didn't
never
say
believe
stuff
me.
up. Look
You
at me. I'm
only
doing the research. I
you
saw the cute
only
frogs on the table and I could have bought them and brought them home. But first I was like, no, I need to check what I need to do for
yeah,
biosecurity.
yeah.
I need to do a little more reading. I need to figure out what I'm doing.
Is she gonna get
And
them at
I
the next show? You're doing
probably,
Spokane or whatever?
probably, I want to do the full tank first and I want to have more information. because she's 6. So she's a really responsible 6-year-old when it comes to animals. Like she'll help me in the snake room, she'll help me with rats. Like she's really great at it, but I also need to know how to take care of them too. Like, because she's 6. I thought maybe it'd be really cool to have like tadpoles and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It
Even
might
though
be
I
neat.
shit on different classes of animals, all animals are indeed cool. And they can be as enjoyable or sufferable as you want them to be. You know what I mean? It just depends on dedication. I like snakes because you can run volume and they're fine, right?
Right.
Right. So that's why I have a preference. Chris has weird new fascination with
Sugar gliders.
sugar gliders that emerged from nowhere. He almost was like trying to drag Alex over to buy a hedgehog because Alex is really into Sonic the Hedgehog. And I was like, A, they're not the
He
same
was in
thing. Not
weird form. I was just like, okay, let's go get you an animal, a baby kitty. Here you go.
not the same thing. And I'm like,
Hey, if you want another kid, now's the time to ask.
whoa. Yeah, I'm good. We're
One kid is
downer.
great. Please just continue with that. That's
Yeah.
smart.
So we went to go get a hedgehog. I'm like, no hedgehogs. My cousins had a hedgehog. And they're actually like a fine pet, but they're nocturnal. So they don't do anything during the day when you would want to hang out with them. They're like a nighttime pet. So as far as like a thing that lives in a cage, that doesn't sound like great. And then he's like, what about a sugar glider? And I'm like, also nocturnal. So, but maybe it would be like snugglier because it would fly to your head sometimes in your house. And I'm like, the cat's probably going to eat it also. And then he went around looking for a vendor who sold sugar gliders, and then they didn't find one. I was like, thank God. And we went home. I wanted to buy the yellow belly puzzle at Dee's Ball's table.
I did not go to his table because I was afeared that all the money in my till would end up in his till.
You should have
I
been
also did
afraid.
not go over to Cue Balls. Did you make it to Cue Balls?
No.
A lot of people posted when they said they got good snakes. It was all, I got it from Cue Ball. I got it from Cue Ball. I got it from Cue Ball. I'm
What
like, oh,
is the
obviously someone
project
was.
he was in? Or do you know?
I know he's into some clown pied. I know he's got really nice stuff. I think he's into the Desert Ghost as well.
Yeah, I have a fantasy, Jana, that one day we will take ball pythons to the show that are nice. So my fantasy may be in error, of computational error. But what if one day we have so many snakes, such a bounty, that we're taking most of our production and only keeping the best 10%. So we could take visual clowns of both genders and visual pieds of both genders and high-end combo hets of both genders, and it wouldn't be weird. We'd be like, that's not a problem because I already have 30 visual clown females. That day is not today, though, nor is it next year, probably.
Hey, I might have some actual. I got one whole visual clown so
One
far this
clown.
season, and I might get some visual pieds, and I may get some visual desert ghosts.
Right,
So
but most
there.
of the good parts of those you have to keep.
But yeah, none of those are being sold.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And around we go. Oh,
Oh my God,
I
did you
don't
ever
know.
check if that female, what she was bred to? So on Saturday or Sunday morning, I noticed that a ball python clutch was pipping in my incubator that was in the house. I hadn't looked at them at
No,
all on
so
Saturday, and I
okay.
opened it up, and the pairing everybody at home is a GHI, Extreme Gene Clown to a Mojave. I open it
Should have
up,
been a delicious clutch.
there's a lesser GHI. Yep. So then I was like, Jana possessed it before I possessed it. I was like, was the last pairing a lesser GHI combo male? And it's retained sperm. Because if it's not retained sperm, she is a chimera.
Chimera. I gotta scroll through all my pictures and get back to September of last
In
year
your phone?
in my phone,
Holy fuck. If you go,
and I gotta find the pictures. Oh, maybe I could look in
you don't
our
have to
message.
scroll.
Because on her tub was what she had been paired to, and I took a picture of it. And I pretty sure it was lesser something. What if there wasn't any lesser in it? Like, what are you gonna think, huh?
Would have to be a chimera then. I don't even have a lesser male to breed her to.
That's weird.
Deb at Northern Regis has a female who has one ovary that's a mystic crystal and one ovary that's a mystic potion.
What?
Yeah, and it's like
Huh?
proven. So some of her eggs will be special, some of them mystic, and some of them Mojave.
That's bizarros.
Yeah, but she actually looks like a chimera. Like part of her body looks one way and part of her body looks the other way. So
Right,
she's
and
a
this
fused
this other
twin.
one, this one looks just like a Mojave, like literally
Yeah, right. So
could
I
not
don't
be any
actually
more
think she's a
Mojave.
chimera. She just was bred to a GHI lesser at some point, which is bad for me because all the GHI offspring, I did not know if they were sired by the
If they're
clown or
actually head
not.
clown.
So all of
Yeah.
them have to be sold as not heads now. And they don't actually look like his children.
That is a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't she take the delicious GHI clown sperm?
I don't know.
Why would she do that?
Girls just want to have fun. No, and one of the babies formed with its mouth open, 180 degrees.
That's
So I had to put that one down. It
Wait,
was
so
like a
did
normal.
you feed it to
My
the
king snake's
girl
too
who
small.
went out on the town?
Too
Oh,
small.
she was real fat now.
I got fat, but not big. She could eat a baby corn snake, but she couldn't eat a baby ball python.
Oh, that's a bummer. Well, I will look for you, but that hurts my feelings. Does that hurt your feelings?
Yeah, I'm also pissed I didn't get a GHA Mojave. It was like 4 or 5 normals, a GHI lesser, a GHI, and a Mojave.
That's a
Or something.
bad day.
Right. I got host on
Gross.
that one. It's fine. They were making up for the tri-stripes all being
Girls.
girls.
That's true. All
And
right. No, I
my
will look for you. I know I have a picture of it somewhere.
my GHI Mojave or GHI clown to the Mystic Heck clown. All of those are looking kind of funky. The eggs. So I don't know if they're gonna do okay. Like they're not rotten yet, but they're acquiring mold at a rate that I wouldn't expect from a
Healthy clutch.
healthy clutch. So I don't know if all of the babies are gonna emerge. So I did foot powder them yesterday.
I have not checked on any of my eggs.
I was doing all this stuff like in the middle of the show week where I'm like, I should probably, and I had a clutch laid on Sunday morning and I didn't pull it till Sunday night and it was really stuck together. And I was like, whoops a daisy. And then you're all the way they lays, the way they stay this time, bitch. And then I just put them in the big Tupperware in the incubator. Oh, that was the blackhead yellow belly to a butter pin, which I need to sell her
I have
too.
literally not opened any of my Gravid Females tubs since like Wednesday. And normally I do every day.
Jana's
And
got
everybody else,
17
it's like
clutches. Wait,
2 or 3,
everybody.
20.
20
I'm
more
at
females
20.
ready to go? I
Oh,
just mean
no,
like
no,
you have
no.
17 more clutches.
Oh, I'd have to count. It's like 8 with the possibility of 2 more, I think. I have to check that number. It's a lot. I did a final ultrasound, and then I had 2 that were about 20 millimeters, and they each got a final lock this week because I haven't had locks since like March because I quit breeding the males beginning of June and got them all back on food. But these 2 are sitting at 20, and it's been, like I said, a while since they had a lock. And they each only had, I think, 2. And so I'm like, you can have one more, and then if you don't go, that's your fault.
Yeah, I had 2 that were stalled in the 20 range or whatever. Like they were not eating and also not growing follicles. So I did lock both of them again. So I have 2 more females that will go. I'll probably be moving them before they lay at this point. But they'll probably ovulate like in 2 weeks or something, 3 weeks. But I think my total is only like, that would be 12 clutch.
That's what I did last year. That was really manageable. But you also have like 20 million other clutches from other species. But it's a lot. And like I was like, I feel like my rat production just isn't keeping up. And I'm like, why are my rats not doing so good? And then I was like, oh, because I'm feeding all the hoppers. Oh, yeah, it's because I have 10 clutches in my baby rack. That's why.
Have you gotten most of them on frozen thawed at this point?
Almost immediately. Usually about half will take frozen thawed the first meal and never need a live, and the other half 1 or 2 lives, and then they're on frozen thawed mice. But when
Even then,
it's
you're still using too much. of your,
Right, if you're
yeah.
using 20 hoppers and then you go to pull weans, I mean, I have double the amount of ASFs that I had last year, and I go to pull weans, and you're pulling like 20 or 30, and last year I was pulling like 75 a week. Someone's got to give somewhere, man.
I bought frozen at
I
Glacier.
saw you, huh?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. I was like, do I want to fill a box from Cold Blooded Cafe or Big
Rodent Pro is
Cheese?
doing free shipping right now. I was trying to decide if I was gonna slum it, cause and they also have
Can I
sales
tell
on
you a story?
about how they kill all the things.
Yeah, recently too. So
Oh, go ahead.
that's the story.
Oh,
Like very recently, there was a report in the Hognose group.
it's always the huggies that get it first, too.
Don't sue me, by the way. Thank you.
You can cut that out. It's
Yeah.
fine.
No, so I was just like, do I need to go buy 700 mouse units, even if I can afford it, just to transport them in 2 weeks to fit a box?
Hell no.
So I
Hell
went to
no.
Glacier and I was like, what is 2 weeks ish worth of stuff for this size? And I'll order more once I get there. Because I will be transporting frozen food items if they all rot. It's fine, I guess.
Okay, well, if you need me to buy them up, you know I've got mouths to feed.
Yeah, a lot of it's like big stuff that you couldn't use anyway. I was just gonna like
Okay, I don't
whatever
want
was
your big
left,
shit.
yeah, left over come whenever. I was just gonna like throw it in one freezer
Cooler.
and dry ice it so it was like really cold, and then add dry ice each night to the freezer in the back of the truck. And then
Yeah.
most of it should make it if you did that. You can buy dry ice at every Walmart pretty much. Not every Walmart, but a lot of them.
I don't
I
know
don't know
either.
who's
We
into
should
it
have both
ever.
had coffee before we did this.
We didn't
All right,
really.
guys, climb into bed with us and we'll just keep talking.
So you
It's
did 30.
totally
Let's just have
fine.
a review. You did 3,200 and
Yes.
15 snakes,
Yes.
and I did 3,123 snakes.
Yes.
I think you should feel fine. I know it's not as good as you have done, but
Right, but 500 of that my kid made.
even if you only did 20 whatever or 2,000 whatever, it's still
No,
better.
it was a
You
good
still
weekend
paid
for
for your
me.
table and got rid of some
I paid for
snakes.
my table, I paid for my time. I was able to pay for the tables for all the following expos, and I bought more rats for my snakes and more inventory for my kids' business. Like it was more than worth my time,
Did you buy
absolutely.
it
And
for rats from Glacier or from one of the other providers?
I did cold-blooded cafe.
Oh, you mean you just bought rats in general? I was just wondering if you bought it from the.
No, 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 no.
How did Holly do last update? I know talked to her on Saturday, but I didn't re-talk to her on Sunday. This is Holly's Mesa Terra. The
Mesa Terra, and she does jewelry. I didn't ask her on Sunday how she did. I was so burned out. We went and got a little drunk at an Olive Garden and had a really cute waiter that was flirting with us. It was
man,
pretty fun.
again. I feel like this is. I
Again,
have
it's just
deja
must be a
vu.
Holly thing. Yeah.
We'll have to get Holly on at some point to do like a
A
reptile
push for her.
accessory business breakdown.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But yeah, she's gonna come with me to the Portland, the sister show to the Monroe show,
When is that?
August 20th, in Portland. And then there's the Spokane show, September 10th or 11th. I'd have to look up the dates. I posted them on my Instagram. And then the big Pack Northwest in Hillsboro in October.
Are they doing
And
it
then
in
I'm
January again or December again? Do you know? Have they announced that? Like if
They
they.
have not announced where the next Puyallup show will be, but the Hillsboro one is in October. I've already got tables for that. But yeah, then in December or January, there should be a Puyallup show and then another Portland show with the other company. So that's a lot of shows coming up. So watch my Instagram for those dates, and I've got their literature pictured with accurate information, not I got hit by the expo bus information.
Well, we'll report back what Holly said about her because she sold out in Portland. It
She sold
didn't
out
look
in
like she
Portland.
was selling out here.
She did not sell out in, but she did very well. She always does very well because everybody's always buying, earrings.
See you
Yeah,
guys
I'll
next
report
week.
back.
We'll be less asleep. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't even know what we're doing next week, but we'll figure it out. in the next. All right,
Oh,
everybody.
snake penises.
Bye.
Bye. Snake penises are the best.